Hello, welcome back to Hunter Tune. Today we're going to be dyno tuning my K24 swapped Acura Integra with a VS Racing 6262 and a 1320 Sidewinder manifold. And yeah, basic, sort of basic build, sort of spent money in the right places. Turbo being one of them, manifold being one of them, VS Racing wastegate, all that stuff you guys can get on my website, huntertune.com. And other places where we sort of skimped, I mean, intercooler is just an eBay 3-inch core intercooler and 2.5-inch eBay piping. We do have a Speed Factory 4-bar map sensor, flex fuel, Hunter tuned fuel injectors with around 90 pound per hour injectors. We did swap out the spark plugs for a set of the Iridium BKR8 EIXs. So I did that, gapped them down to about 18 thousandths. And in the last couple videos, we ended up installing a 3-port boost controller. We tied that into the wastegate and then plumbed it into the ECU. This car is running on a Honda K-Pro V4 with a PRB RSX ECU. And we're just gonna get right into it today. We are going to see what this thing makes on my street tune. We have driven this car on the street a little bit. It makes around 6 to 7 pounds of boost. And we're gonna kind of see what the street tune does for power. And then we're going to turn the boost controller on and crank it up a little bit. We'll see what kind of power it makes, and I'll probably walk you guys through some of the tuning and stuff that I'm doing. We do have the wideband wired into the ECU. This has an AEM X Series wideband air fuel gauge, as well as the AEM X Series oil pressure gauge. So two important gauges that you guys definitely probably need on a turbo car. We're gonna monitor boost through the ECU. And thanks for all the support on the videos, guys. I know I'm not some big time YouTuber, but if you guys wanna help support the channel at all, you can always check out my website. If you guys have any questions on products or anything like that, you can always reach out to me via email, and I'll try to get back to everybody. Like this video if you guys enjoy the tuning content and stuff like that. Liking the video actually does help quite a bit with the whole YouTube algorithm. And if you guys are new here, consider subscribing. I do a lot of car content and you know, motorcycles, electric vehicles, stuff like that. So if you guys are new here, be sure to hit that subscribe button and like this video. It really does help. And your boy here, after 700 and some YouTube videos, I'm really trying to grow. So let's get into it. We'll get on to the first dyno pull of the day. We'll go over the data log, and then we will see what we can do to improve it. Alright guys, so this is what the first pull is looking like, and you can tell why K is the way, guys. This is a 6262 size turbo, and the broad torque curve and broad power band of this car is insane. We made a peak power of 375 horsepower and 311 foot-pounds of torque. I did these runs last night, just kind of messing around with the car, and you can tell first run of the day we're already up power from last night just because the car was hotter last night. And you know, turbos definitely have the tendency to heat soak, so if we just did another run and didn't change anything, I would imagine our power would be a little bit lower, kind of the same thing it was doing last night. you know, just kind of dropping as we were doing pulls. But 375 horsepower on 7 pounds of boost, that's nuts for a Honda. I mean, it's crazy. My VTEC set point's at 4,000 RPM. You can kind of see where it bumps up a little bit, and then it just holds a flat torque curve. I mean, we're tapering off a little bit up top because the K24 kind of has that tendency. It doesn't really scream like a K20 does, but we can try to adjust some of that with cam angle. And you can see way up here, it's starting to dip off a little bit, but we don't really want to rev this K24 super high. These engines are kind of made for good mid-range and good torque. And you can see, I mean, even on 7 pounds of boost, we're already making 311 horsepower. This car, naturally aspirated, made 250 to the tire, and with 7 pounds of boost, we're making 375. So that's pretty much right on par with what, you know, formulas and calculations and stuff tell you. 14 pounds of boost on top of a naturally aspirated setup will typically double your horsepower output. So if a car makes 250 horsepower naturally aspirated on 14 pounds of boost, we should be making 500, which is double. We were doubling the atmosphere with 14 pounds of boost. So 250, so that would be 100. We made 125 more horsepower on 7 pounds of boost. The calculations are right there. That means this setup is pretty damn efficient. So 7 pounds of boost, we took half of our naturally aspirated horsepower and put it on top. So 375, not too bad. Let's go over the log a little bit and see if we can clean up this fuel, and then we will proceed to turn the boost controller on and see if we can make a little bit more boost. Alright guys, so here is our data log. Oh, come on. Alright, so here's the data log from that run. You can see we made completely full boost, 4,500 RPM. I mean, probably a little bit before that, realistically. As soon as my foot goes to the floor, guys, it takes less than a second to make boost, and then about 2 seconds to fully boost. And that's on the dyno, so I mean, it could be a little bit different on the street, but 6-7 pounds right here, 4,700. 11.8 air fuel. This red line is our actual air fuel, and then the line, the straight line below it, is what our target is. So we're gonna try to clean this up a little bit. You can see our right in here, our actual and our target are pretty much right on par. Besides, right when I stabbed into it, it went rich for a second. So we could try to fix that. So we're commanding a 12.3 and we're getting 11.5 at 2,900 and 0 pounds. So we'll go back to the table and we'll go to the low cam fuel. And I'm just going to do edit all tables to kind of keep this simple. And I'm going to try to trim out some fuel below 3 grand. We'll probably yank like 8%. And then right here, we're right on the money. So I guess below 3 grand, we could have left it alone. So we'll take this and put fuel back in. Put 7 back in. So we're kind of try to build that fuel curve. Let's see here. So we're pretty much perfect air fuel until about 4,200, right when it crosses into VTEC. It goes a little lean, like 1220. So 1220 air fuel, 4,500 RPM and 7 pounds. So up here, we're gonna have to splash a little bit in. So we're just going to put like 5% right there. Hopefully it'll get rid of this little spike. The rest of this looks fairly good. And then from, let's see, 5,800 until 58 to 68 about, we are going to add some more fuel in. 58 to 68. No, damn it. There's that. We have a random 0 on our fuel map. That's just from files getting corrupted and stuff. I'm gonna just interpolate that so it fixes it. And then let's see here, go back to the graph. 58 to 68, we just added a little bit because we're only running like a 12.0, 11.8. It's not super lean. And then right at 7,100, we got to pull some fuel out. So we go back to the table from 7 to 74. We're going to pull a little out. And then the rest of the pull, we're pretty good. 7,700 and above, we might be able to yank a smidge out as well. So we're going to see if this fuel cleans up now after making these adjustments. I'm not going to change anything else. And we'll see what it does. Alright guys, we ended up making a little bit less power on that run, but I think we did just kind of make it a little bit safer and maybe a little smoother too. You can see there's a little bit of bumps and bruises up at the top end, and now it's nice and smooth. Like I said, we're going to be losing power as we keep running this thing because it's going to heat soak. It's a turbo car, but we'll look at the data log and see how the air fuel chart looks now. So you can see our air fuel chart is a little bit smoother. It still needs a little bit of work, but I mean, this thing is in the 11s the entire pull, which is what we're looking for. So I might not get too crazy with this on low boost. I might really fine tune as we go up, but I'm pretty happy with this air fuel chart right here. As you can see, it's like 11.6, 11.6, 11.3, 11.8. 11.3, 11.5, 11.8. It's pretty much right on the money. There is still a spot where it goes 11.1 way up here, then it goes back to 11.5 and then 11.20. It's pretty dialed, I'm not gonna lie. It's not too bad. So I'm gonna leave this alone. This is on, I believe, let me check the ignition timing that we're running on 7 pounds. It's not a whole lot, I know that much. $22 degrees. 22 degrees on 6.5 pounds. So I mean, it's pretty conservative, realistically. So now we are going to go through and turn the boost controller on. I want to see if this thing works. So we're going to go to boost control. I have it at 0% duty cycle right now, and I'm going to try 25% duty cycle and see what that gives us. Just to start, we already tested all this in the last video. If you guys haven't seen it, go check it out. So yeah, that's the only change we're going to do this time, is we're just going to give it a little bit of boost. We're going to see if it picks up at all. Wideband to heat up here. There she goes. Look at that. I do have closed loop set up on this car as well. Ability to adjust up to 10% until it hits boost. So my cruising and stuff runs pretty consistently with the short-term trim activated. It probably is running a little rich at idle, but I'm not super concerned right now. So that was about 7.5 pounds, and then 7 pounds up top. Before it was 7 pounds and then falling to 6.5. So I'm assuming we picked up a smidge of power. Yep, 378. So we picked up about 10 horsepower on a half pound of boost. You can see the change is pretty minimal, but we did pick up a little bit. This light blue is the new one. But that's just kind of where our controller is going to start making a difference. And that was only a half a pound of boost pickup, and we made 10 more horsepower. So I'm gonna give it probably 35% on this next one, and we'll see how much that makes and how much boost it makes and how much power it makes. All right guys, this is gonna be 35% on the duty cycle. Hopefully we can make like 9 or 10 pounds. So 35% duty cycle only gave us another pound of boost. So I went straight to 45, and that gave us like 9 pounds. So it went 8 and now 9. So slow gains, but we are gaining. We are over 400 horsepower now on 9.5 pounds of boost, 401. See, it's coming up there, making more power. I'm gonna let this thing cool down for a little bit, and we're gonna smack it with like 60. Air fuel's looking perfect. I don't see why we can't keep going with this thing. I'm just gonna, give it a break for a second, cool it off. 401 on 9.5 pounds. Not many Hondas can make over 400 horsepower on less than 10 pounds of boost. So, if you guys haven't tried a K-Series out, you should definitely give it a shot, because man, and they sound so good. They sound, giver. All right, got the car cooled off, and we are going to try, probably just shoot for 60% duty cycle on the controller now. We made 401 at about 9.5 pounds of boost, and yeah, I'm sure we can squeeze a little bit more with ignition timing, but we're just gonna try to get the boost levels dialed in so I can know what duty cycle is what boost level. And I'm just kind of marking it down. 45% duty is 9.5 pounds. 35 is 8 pounds or 7.5, whatever it was. I have it written down on the laptop. Just keep a note of that so we can set up our duty versus pressure table for the boost by gear. And yeah, let's try 60, see what we can make. Well, the first hit that I did, she was a little lean, so I had to put some fuel in it. I was like 1270 air fuel when the boost came up. So I just had to put some more fuel in at the higher boost on the table. And I did that, and we might be out of injector because that was 14.5 pounds. And I don't know what it did for power, but let's find out. Holy crap. 505 horsepower. 400 foot-pounds of torque. Holy shit. Look at that. Look at that jump. Holy crap. This is the first hit that I did. It was out of fuel, so I got out of it. But I stayed in this one, and it started going lean up at the top. I'm going to see if I can give it some more fuel up there. But it might be out of injector. These injectors are really only good for about 500 horsepower. We have made like 530, 540 with them, but it's a little much sometimes. I'm gonna see what I can do, see if we can crank this thing up just a little bit more. But man, 505 horsepower on 14 pounds of boost. That's nuts. That's like frickin' a stock 4.8 will do that. A stock 4.8 Chevy V8. Wow. On 14 pounds, a 4.8 with a stock cam and stock everything would probably do exactly what this thing's doing, which is crazy because it has double the displacement. Wow. That just shows how efficient these engines really are. All right, so I just put some more fuel in it. I'm hoping it'll keep up with the injector. So we're just gonna see what it does. We'll look at the log afterwards, see if we can make maybe 520 or so. I could crank it up a little more, but I feel like it's definitely out of injector. I'm gonna have to find an injector solution soon, which I actually have some on the way. Some custom Hunter tuned 1600s. So we might be throwing those in here just to make a number, but I don't know. I'm not actually going to use this much power on the street. I'm just going to, you know, do it for a number on the dyno. So we'll see what it does. Stay tuned. That was 15 and a half pounds of boost, and we made 524, and we are out of injector. I tried slamming fuel in this thing and it did not want it, or it didn't, you know, take it. 413 foot-pounds of torque, 524 horsepower on some junkyard flex fuel LS truck injectors. E85 pump fuel from the old Casey's. Damn, I can't believe this thing. I haven't even fed it timing or anything because we're out of injector, but I'm probably just gonna leave it here. I might back it down a little bit, you know, probably to like 480 or something, just so we have enough injector in it. And that's probably where I'll leave it for now. It's gonna be 100 and some odd horsepower more now. So we'll definitely have to take it out for a rip on the street when we're done. I'll show you the log and where the air fuel is starting to run away. So we're good all the way up until 6,800 RPM, and then we're starting to go 1220, 1250 air fuel, 1260. I just stayed in it. 16 pounds of boost at the peak, 15.8 for most of the run, 15.5, 14 down here. So I'm probably just gonna back it down a little bit and just make sure that it's good, and then we'll take it out for a rip on the street, probably in the next video. 15 degrees of timing only. We could probably get away with another degree or two, I would assume, and we'd probably pick up another, I don't know how much power really. I don't really want to do it right now because we're out of injector, but once we get some larger injectors in this thing, it does already have a Walbro 525 fuel pump in it. So yeah, this thing's wild. I can't even imagine how fast it's gonna feel on the street. At 413 foot-pounds of torque in a 4-banger. And it makes that torque at like 5,000 RPM. Wow. Damn. All right, guys, that's gonna do it for this video. Hopefully you enjoyed. We ended up making 525 horsepower with pretty much the parts I told you to buy. This thing would have no issue going 600, 650 with these same parts that are on here besides the injectors. In that video I showed you what parts to buy or whatever. I had a set of Bosch 2200s. I just haven't put them in this car because the thousands were already in here. So I just wanted to see how far they would go before I swapped injectors. But I'm gonna see how this power even is on the street. If I want more, I'll swap injectors. If I don't want more, you know, I just feel like if I swap the injectors and I put bigger injectors in it, I'm gonna kill transmissions left and right. So, you know, the flex fuel 100 tune injectors are kind of the limit of transmissions too. Like if you max a set of those things out, you're probably right on the edge of the transmission too. So, but we're gonna see what we can do. You guys will have to stay tuned. We'll take this thing out for a rip on the street. I'm not gonna do it tonight, but I'll probably come out here tomorrow. I might ride my electric scooter all the way out here and see if it'll make it out here. And if it does, I'm gonna throw it in the back of the Integra and drive it home. So I think that'd be a cool little video too. But have a great night and a better tomorrow, guys. We'll see you later.